Step 1, the design. All right, let's talk about the design of this raised bed garden enclosure. So in the images you're about to see or are seeing, you'll see dimensions, what it kind of looks like and everything to help guide you to calculate the materials you need and how to build it. So let's start off with looking at the bottom view. So in this bottom view, we're going to see a bunch of dimensions and what it'll look like. So what we're seeing here is a big U with a small little box inside of it. That is showing us what it'll look like from the top or bottom up view. And we'll see here we have our dimensions, 20 feet at the top, 10 feet on the right, 3 foot 6 inches is how wide it's going to be all the way around. So you'll see all the dimensions are calculated out so that we know how much area we're dealing with. We will also see a yard cubic and foot cubic areas for the different pieces. And this is with the assumption that is 1.5 feet deep. Next, we'll take a look at the front view. So this view isn't going to have any dimensions on it, but it will show you what it'll look like from the front with how many levels of slats there are, where the doors are being hung, and the post numbers. And we'll get to those post numbers at the very end of all of this. You'll notice that the line on the far outside edge of both of them show that one of the slats is in the ground. This is to represent a dislevel of the floor. So we're going with the assumption that the ground is not all even. For me, I didn't have the ability to really level out the ground before doing this. You may have that ability, so you'd only have to put 3 inches in the ground so that you know that there's capture so that dirt doesn't just seep out. Next, we'll look at the right side or left side. Both of them are the same and identical. Again, we'll see how the ground level is, where the dirt is, and how it's in the ground, as well as our post numbers at the top. You'll also notice that I have a 2x4 on the top, inset in. I did not go with this design. I went with putting them on top. Again, this is totally up to you and how you feel you want to do these posts. Here is our back view. Again, similar to the front view, shows where the slats are and where the posts are at the top. It also shows a 2x4 going across the back side holding the stability. I ended up not doing this as it was a little bit excessive in the support. If you feel you want to do that, you are more than happy. That was also not included in the materials that I did. So that would be extra 2x4 or whatever type of material that you ended up using. Here's our top view showing the roof. So you can see here our 2x4s that go across to connect the 4x4s from back and front and side to side. You can kind of see what that looks like. Next we have is our door. So this shows you that it is 2x4s thick, 2 of them. So in our side view, it shows the 2x4s sandwiched together with the chicken wire in between them and how tall it is and all the dimensions that you're going to need. Pretty straightforward. It's 8 feet and the door size you'll be able to get and calculate based off of the dimensions on page 1, the bottom view. Next we have our post view. So the post view is the most important. So this determines how many posts we're going to need and what's being measured. So as we look at this, we'll see that posts 1 through 14 are posts that are needed for tall, and then 1 through 6 are the short ones. So what does that mean? So these posts on the outside, if we're looking at the U, you'll see all the posts on the exterior edge are all lined up with front and back and left and right. These are all to allow us to put our 2x4s on top successfully, and they go full length. So again, we bought 10-foot 4x4s. We bury them in the ground about 2 feet, so we have 8 feet above. We then know we can connect those. We then have the numbers 1 through 7 in the interior of our box and the U. That is there for just stability of those posts to then allow us to lay our 1.25 by 6 on top of it, giving some stability for that to sit on top as a little lip. So that's why we have those posts there, as well as we need them for corner pieces to hold it in. I also put 6 and 4 on the inside instead of the outside, so that this obviously is totally up to you on how you want to do that design. I did it on the inside. You can totally do it on the outside for more stability. Totally up to you and how you feel comfortable with doing it. Next, we'll take a look at our seed design. So this seed layout is actually how we put the seeds in, with some slight variation. So we'll see on the far right where we see DT, that is our delicious tomato. We then have green beans as GB, P as in peas, and KN or CAN as cantaloupe. We ended up not planting cantaloupe as we didn't get enough seeds for it. So we ended up just doing 3 green beans and 3 peas. Top right corner is sweet tomatoes. To the left of that are onions. To the left of the onions are broccoli. Then to the left of that is okra. To the left of that is green peppers. Left of that is watermelon. Now in the top left is cherry tomatoes. Below that, this is where it's slightly deviated. We planted a little bit more. So we have going left to right in 3 rows, cucumber, squash, and zucchini in that order from top to bottom. And then we have corn in the bottom left. In the small little bin, we have spinach, lettuce, and carrots, as all of them are complementary to each other. So they'll help each other grow very well. As you'll see in the video later on, you'll see kind of how my spinach is growing rampant after just a month of growing. We ended up planting the seeds ahead of time and then trying to transfer them in. We ran into issues with that, with not being able to pull them out because the root system was not strong enough. So the roots fell apart when we planted them and then they all died off. So we ended up having to reseed them in the actual raised bed garden, which actually worked out really well. As you'll see in the video later on, they are popping after a month. It's pretty insane. So what I recommend next time is to get either red solo cups or biodegradable containers that are bigger, that you can put the seeds in, that you can either plant it or easily tear it off to replant it, and it allows it to be bigger. We started at about a month and a half in advance because of where the freeze time frame or freeze season is. This varies obviously state to state, area to area. So use your best judgment, do your research on that. But planning ahead of time definitely helps in getting that jump started, so that it's grows faster. We're about a month behind because of our issue with replanting. So that is something I forewarn and would definitely recommend differently. Also check out different books. I'll leave a link in the description for the book that I used for gardening, to know how to plant these vegetables near each other. So all of them are sitting near one another because they are complementary to one another. This again helps the growth of each other. They benefit each other in that aspect so that they can grow bigger and better, so that you get more vegetables and a more fruitful plant, so to speak. So that is the design. Again, these designs will be in the link in the description, so that you can download these designs to work from and modify them as you so please. These are just images, so you can sketch your own using these designs to help you out. Step 2, the materials. Let's talk about what the required materials are. Throughout this list, you'll see a variety of wood, hinges, soil, other ancillary items that are used, a part of my build, to build this enclosed raised bed garden. Now, out of all these items, they are of the wood, pressure treated, and all the other items can be your choice. The hinge, the bird netting, the chicken wire, the soaker hose, all of this can be at your discretion. You can tweak and change any of these designs to your liking. This is the design and the materials that I used. And in the description, there will be a link to the list of items that I used in an Excel document with the link to where I purchased them. Again, these are all your choice. The soil can be your choice. I went with a very saturated soil that houses nutrients. This nutrients helps with the raised bed garden, giving it the nutrients it needs to produce the plant that we want in a nice fruitful way. So again, up to you how you choose to do that. Overall, this cost about $1,700. Step 3, the build. hope you all enjoyed watching this, and that this is very beneficial for you to build your own enclosed raised bed garden to keep out those pesky deer and little bitty bunny rabbits. But I want to talk about a little bit of lessons learned as I went through this process. First one is stake the ground where you're going to put your 4x4 so that you know where to dig. I had to redig my holes and move my holes several times because it wasn't either aligned 100% or my holes were slightly off. So keep in mind of that. 2, make sure you level your ground. Leveling your ground is huge. It definitely makes it a big difference and a lot easier to work with. 3, do not use cement to hold your posts into the ground. It's not necessary. They'll be more likely to pull out during rainstorms, especially if you get a lot of rain or hurricanes. Just bury them 2 feet deep in the ground and compact the dirt around it with a tamper. Makes it a lot easier, and the water will be able to free flow without any issues. Final thing, for the hoses, for the soaker hose, you're going to need it to go both directions to connect back to each other. So I have one hose connecting one side and another hose connecting on the other end, so it's a full loop. That's so that the pressure is strong enough to water everything at the roots for each one. Otherwise, it doesn't get all the way through 100 feet of soaker hose. So keep that in mind. Thanks for stopping by, guys. If you have questions, please leave them below in the comments. I will respond to everybody. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like. If you like the channel, subscribe. But until next time, peace.